Alright, rockers, Turbo back with you here inside the Asylum, and I'm very happy to have with me by phone right now the lead singer of one of the new bands in rock and metal that are really making a name for themselves. They're right now out on tour with Avatar. Joining me by phone right now, Michael Del Pizzo of Sunflower Dead. How are you, dude?
I'm doing pretty good, my friend. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I want to thank you for joining me here inside the Asylum while you're out on tour with the Avatar. How's that tour going?
Oh man, that tour has been great. We've been having a good time. Those guys are super nice, super Swedish, and it's a great show. You know, Sunflower Dead and Avatar. I think people are really getting their money for it.
Absolutely. I know you guys were here in the New York area recently, and I apologize for missing it, but I heard it was a phenomenal show. And I want to start off with you with a little bit about the band because there are a lot of people that are just hearing about you guys now and your new album. It's Time to Get Weird is really starting to take off. For those not familiar with Sunflower Dead, give everybody a little bit of a backstory about what you guys are all about.
All right. Well, we started back in 2012. Me and the lead guitarist Jabu had an idea of putting together a band full of people from other local bands in Southern California. We kind of went to the local bands, tried to pull the drivers behind those bands, you know, the people that we thought would really wanted to be rock stars. And we kind of asked different people and got a group of guys that we wanted and asked them if they wanted to put together a band that would be more than just a bunch of guys in jeans and t-shirts. We wanted to entertain people. We wanted to have some kind of look a la Kiss or something like that. We weren't really sure in the beginning, but everybody was excited about doing that. We started writing songs, came up with a look, came up with the name Sunflower Dead, which was based off a short story that I had written years and years before the band started. We kind of took on the look of the characters in the story, and we put out our debut record in 2012 and started touring with national bands all over the country, and just built it up to the point where we went to Europe last summer with Korn and put out our second record, and now we're in the top 40 at radio and touring our second record, and just thankful for everything we get to do.
Well, I tell you what, you guys definitely have all that figured out, and very well for that fact. Now, you know, you say you guys got started, you wanted to do things differently and not just be a bunch of guys on stage in jeans and t-shirts. Do you think that maybe the music industry got away a little bit from the showmanship of the industry, and that had to do with, you know, what you guys are doing and bringing that stage presence back to the industry?
You know, it could be. That could have something to do with it. I just think that as a group, we just kind of wanted to have some fun with it. I believe that's where it really stems from. You know, we're definitely not a reaction, I don't believe, to the way the music industry is today, but we are taking advantage of the way the music industry is today, the fact that it's the Wild West out there, and you kind of can have to make your own rules. But as far as the look, we really just wanted to have fun and figured, you know, why not? You know, who's to stop us? And it's really working well, and we're just going to continue along with it.
Well, definitely keep doing what you're doing with it for sure. And I gotta ask, man, as I was looking into you guys, because I am one of many that are just starting to hear about you guys. I just heard the album, It's Time to Get Weird. It is a great album from beginning to end. There is not one bad track on the album. Go buy it wherever you buy your music. What made you decide aside from being the singer, to also add the accordion into what you do?
Well, the accordion was just something I've played for a long time, and I used to play it in another band I was in years and years ago. And since this band was going to be such a visual band, one of my guitarists actually said, why don't you play the accordion in this band? It looks really cool. Even though it will come off as a gimmick, you're actually playing it, so it's not you're not faking it. So we figured we'd add it in, and it really has taken on a life of its own in this band, and it's a cool thing. And I get to play my inhuman lung, which is what I call it. I get to play it every night on stage, so it's very fun.
I gotta admit, I love that you went that way. Everyone in the industry nails it down to guitars, bass, and drums, and occasionally you'll get a keyboard player, but to see you out there with the accordion is just, dude, forget coolness factor. That's also balls, because those are not easy. They're not easy to carry around and perform with.
Yeah, they're definitely pretty weighty, and it's like playing blind. You're playing by braille, and I'm singing, but it just kind of works for me. I play it my own way, and I enjoy it. The guys enjoy it. Our fans seem to enjoy it, and then people that haven't seen us trip out on it, and it gets their attention to listen to our music. So it works on a lot of different fronts.
Well, I definitely got my attention, and like I said, I give you a lot of credit for being up there and doing that during the show, and having the energy to do it. And let's talk a little bit about the album. It's Time to Get Weird. You have guest vocalist on there, Jonathan Davis, on the title track. And was that a direct result of you guys going out on tour with Korn, or how did that come about?
Well, it was kind of opposite. We had the tour dates booked, but Jamie Cusser, my guitarist, has actually been really good friends with the guys in Korn since before they were Korn. In fact, he took guitar lessons from Monkey back in the day when they were really young.
Oh, wow.
So when somebody mentioned maybe you guys should have a guest on the record, somebody mentioned, well, maybe Jonathan Davis, and so Jamie just literally called those guys, asked John if he'd be interested. John said he would, and we went to his studio in Bakersfield, California, and knocked it out. And he added his vocals, and then we went back to his house and relaxed with his family for a little while, and it was pretty cool. It was really cool.
Cool. It is a great track on the album, and also now this album is your sophomore album, and there's usually the old story that the second album is the hardest to get done and get recognized, but it seems for you guys that the second album seems to be the magic album for you guys.
Yeah, you know what I think that's due to? I think it's the fact that this band from day one has just kind of always been growing. We started at point A and we just keep moving forward, and we keep reassessing what we're doing to make it better and better and better. So when it came time for that second record, and after touring as much as we did on the first one, we really figured out who we were and what we wanted to be as a band, what we wanted to present. And I think it came across really well on this new record. And now as we're touring this one and taking notes and getting ready, we're still a ways off before a third record, but I can see it, even taking another huge step forward on the third album. So it's just a constant growth. You can't ever just say, okay, we're here, we've made it, we're happy with what we do. I'm always trying to see how can I better it, how can I get across my vision better to people. When you play every night in front of people, you really see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. You're able, it's a rare industry where you're able to get feedback very fast on what you're doing. Often, with TV and movies, they spend months and months or years working on it, and they don't know till it's out. And for you guys like you in the music industry, you're able to go out there right away and present it to your fans and know whether or not you got something, or maybe you need to retool it, or rework it in
Right.
some way.
When we first started out, when we started touring, we kind of were like a little angrier on stage and a little meaner and a little tougher. And then, about a week into touring and then a month into touring, we started like seeing these personalities come out of ourselves. And we started smiling on stage, and then people started smiling back, and then we started having more fun, and then the crowd started having more fun. And then we realized we really weren't the type of band that had to go up on stage and be mean and angry. We actually, had more fun entertaining people, and that's where the whole "it's time to get weird" thing started. Because my one guitarist, Sammy, would say, "Well, it's time to get weird. Let's go do our thing." And then we started saying it, and we started doing it, and then our fans started doing it and saying it as they grew. And then, then now we have a second record called "It's Time to Get Weird," and that's the whole mantra: be weird, be yourself, have fun. Don't worry about how anyone mocks you. Just do it. It's all good.
I love that mantra. It's a great way not only to look at things from a performance aspect, but also from a regular, everyday point of view, to just be true to who you are, and who cares what others say and think about you. And I mean, you guys definitely seem to be the voice of that, and kind of the way we're going as a society. We're kind of getting more and more into that idea of, well, you know what, you either can accept me for who I am, or, you don't need to know me type of deal.
Exactly. That's exactly it. I mean, just accept me for who I am, or just move along. And it doesn't even have to be negative. Just I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to hold my head up high. You do what you're going to do. If it works together, great. If it doesn't, good luck. But it's all good either way.
I love that mentality. I love the message of "it's time to get weird." And you mentioned when we talked about the history of the band, you guys wanted to do a good stage presence. And I'm looking at the album cover for "It's Time to Get Weird," and I'm seeing, and I'm assuming you guys were influenced by Kiss, because the album cover is very reminiscent of the Kiss album "Rock and Roll Over."
Most definitely. You know what? That happened completely by accident. We were on our last tour supporting our debut album, and my guitarist, Jabu, said to me, he's like, "Hey, let's do a joke, and let's do like a version of us as Rock and Roll Over from Kiss." And we were all like, "Oh yeah, that's a cool idea." And we totally forgot about it. We recorded "It's Time to Get Weird" record, and then we sent the record off to our artist, who does Scott Jackson, who does our art, and he actually painted a picture of us for the album cover, and we didn't like it, and he didn't like it, and it just wasn't the right thing. So he goes, "Guys, give me about a week to have an idea." And then a week later, he shoots us back to the Rock and Roll Over homage cover of us in the Kiss circle, and we were like, "That's so funny that you did that. We loved it," because we were thinking of that as a joke, and he did it, so we're like, well, we might as well do it because it seems to be just the right thing to do. And, the people that get it realize that we're paying homage to Kiss. We're not trying to rip it off or steal it. We're saying, look, this is one of the greatest bands that came before us, and we're, giving them props by doing it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The first, I look at it, and the first thing I think is, that they were a big influence on you guys as a band. Anybody that looks at it as anything other than paying homage to Kiss really needs to have the head examined, because nobody's trying to rip anybody off, and if anybody does something similar, it is, as you said, paying tribute to them. Whether you agree with where they are now as a band, or what's left of them
Right.
As a band, you got to remember, at one time they were the top of what they did, and they really set the bar for what stage personas could be.
Without a doubt. I completely agree with it 100%.
So now what's, you guys are right now, as I said, on the road with Avatar. When you guys get done with them, what's the plans for Sunflower Dead going through the rest of 2016?
So right after Avatar, we're driving to Denver, and we're picking up for a short West Coast tour with Hell Yeah. So we're going to do that. And then right after that, we hop on In This Moment's Hell Pop Tour, which will be all summer, and it will be In This Moment, Hell Yeah, Sunflower Dead, and Shaman's Harvest. So we'll do that all summer.
Very cool. So you guys are getting out there with bands of all different types of sounds and followings, and you're out on the road, and you're probably able to see it more than I can here in the New York area, but it seems like we're getting to a point in rock and metal where bands of various sounds are able to tour together without having issues of clashing fan bases like we once had.
But yeah, I agree. It seems to be that people are just enjoying music and different kinds of bands together. And it's when we went to Europe, I noticed when they have their festivals, they have all different kinds of styles of music on a festival, and people just seem to enjoy it. Here in the U.S., it's a little more, everything's a little more centered. You'll still have, metal and rock will be together, then hip-hop will be together, and pop will be together. But at least in the metal and rock community, you'll get a tour of different styles of metal bands now. It isn't so like it's only death metal or it's only this kind of metal. You'll get a little bit of each. And then I think it opens people's minds because you never know sometimes what you're going to like until you experience it live. Because when you do experience a band live, you see the passion and see how they perform the music. And sometimes that's the one thing that really ends up turning you on to a band. It's how you see them perform their music.
It's very, very thrilling. I remember, funny that you say you're going on the road in this moment. I saw them open for Rob Zombie and Ozzy Osbourne back in 2009.
Wow.
Yeah, either 2008 or 2009. And they just blew me away then with their stage performance and the way they sounded live. I ran out after that show and bought their debut album, and I've been a fan of theirs ever since. And you guys definitely, even though I did not see you live, I did see video, and I have heard the album. It's Time to Get Weird, and I love what you guys are doing, not only on stage, but your music as well. And I could definitely say you have a definite fan for life in me.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That means a lot. And, I've noticed the support you guys have given us by playing different tracks of ours on the show, so I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. As I said, there is not one bad song on the entire album. It's Time to Get Weird from Sunflower Dead, available in stores wherever you buy your music. Michael, I want to thank you for joining me here inside the Asylum tonight. And before I let you go, I gotta have you pick out a track from It's Time to Get Weird for everyone to hear.
I say let's go with My Mother Mortis tonight. I'm feeling that today.
My Mother Mortis. Is there any backstory behind that one maybe that you'd like to share?
You know what, My Mother Mortis is simply about my struggle with anxiety and social anxiety, and how it's me basically putting up a brick wall and saying, I use My Mother Mortis as a metaphor for anxiety for me, and me just saying, I'm not going to let it affect me. I'm going to do what I have to do to live my life and be a happy person. So That's pretty much what that song's about.
That's a great message for everyone that has any type of anxiety issues. And I tell you what, dude, you hide it well on stage. Nobody would know, man.
On stage, I'm all right. It's just, it's the whole like crowd thing afterwards, but I'm doing pretty well with it, so it's all good.
Awesome, very cool. Well, you guys keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Michael Del Pizzo of Sunflower Dead, for joining me inside the asylum. This is My Mother Mortis by Sunflower Dead. Don't go anywhere. More to come here inside the asylum.